Hello, in this video I will show you how to override outputs and post-render actions in individual contexts. So as you can see, we have three contexts defined here, and when we go to preferences, we already have some render output settings defined, and we have one copy output post-render action defined that looks like this. So if we get out of the preferences and we render all, and then we open the output folder, we can see that we have a folder for each of the contexts that contains image, and also we have the copies that contains a copy from each of the contexts. So that's how we have it defined right now, and we can delete it. And now we can actually override the outputs and post-render actions in one of those contexts. So let's say we want to keep the first two contexts as they are, but in the third one, we will use the override. So to override something in the context, you have to scroll down in this panel, and here you can see output folder, output file names, and post-render actions. And as you can see, they are actually grayed out, and we cannot edit them at all. But we can click these locks to unlock them, and now as you can see, we can edit it all. So let's make the panel a bit more white so we see it better. And for example, for the output folder path, let's add an override suffix at the end so we know this is the override. For the image, we can also add an override suffix. And for the post-render action, we can also add an override. But first we need to copy this. We can paste it here. And here, let's actually add a copies folder. And in the copies, we will have a context override folder. And let's say we add the override suffix as well into the file name. So now we have overrides completely everywhere. And now, if we render all, we should see them in action. So once our render is finished, we can open the output folders, and you can see that we have the first two folders are as they were before, but the third one has the override suffix here, and the image has an override suffix here. And when we go to the copies, we can see the copies from the first two contexts, but there is a new folder here, and it contains the override as well. So as you can see, this is how we can override the outputs and post-render actions in individual contexts. One last thing I want to show you is that these overrides of outputs and post-render actions actually work in multi-edit as well. So let's say we choose the first context and we start the multi-edit. We choose all the other contexts to be edited. And now let's go down, and here we can unlock everything. And let's say we put an override here. We put an override here. And let's go into the post-render action. Let's add an override here. And let's add an override here. And accept. And now if we finish the multi-edit session, we can see all the stuff we have changed. And now if we go down here, we can see we have the override, and override here as well. And now choose another context. We can see we have the overrides here, we have the overrides here. And for the third one, let's check. And we have the overrides here, and we have the overrides here and here. So as you can see, these overrides work in multi-edit as well. And that's it. So I hope you learned something new, and I hope you will now use these overrides while using renderset.